Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like life punched you in the gut and left you breathless? Like no one sees the battles you're fighting just to make it through the day? Have you ever laid awake at night wondering why pain keeps showing up at your door, uninvited, unrelenting, and unforgiving? If that's you, listen closely, because I didn't come here to give you motivation. I came to remind you of a truth that most people run from. The strongest people you know, those warriors, leaders, survivors, they weren't born strong. They were built by pain. I want you to hear me on this. Pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to develop you. It's life's way of saying, I'm calling you to something greater. But you'll never unlock that greatness if you numb it, hide from it, or run away from it. You see, what breaks most people builds the few who choose to rise. And today I'm here to speak to the part of you that's ready to rise. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because by the time this speech is done, you're going to see your pain differently. You're going to own it, use it, and transform with it. And you're going to walk out of here knowing one unshakable truth. The strongest version of you is being built right in the middle of your struggle. You know, people spend their whole lives trying to avoid pain. We're taught that pain is bad, that if something hurts, it must be wrong. But let me tell you something that might shake the foundation of everything you've believed. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the doorway. It's the path. It's the invitation to become more than you were yesterday. The truth is, nothing grows in comfort. You don't grow when things are easy. You don't build muscle without resistance. You don't develop character when everything's working out. You grow when life throws you into situations that force you to dig deep. When you're stretched, tested, and challenged in ways that feel unfair, unbearable, and sometimes even impossible. You think the strongest people out there became that way because they were lucky? No, they were forged in fire. They didn't become powerful in spite of their pain. They became powerful because of it. Every breakdown they went through, every betrayal, every loss, every moment when they felt like giving up, that was the gym. That was the training ground for the next level of their life. But here's the catch. Pain doesn't automatically transform you. It's not pain that changes you. It's what you do with it. Some people experience pain and collapse under it. Others take that same pain and build something out of it. It's not the pain that defines you, it's the decision you make in the middle of it. You've got to stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Life isn't trying to hurt you, life is trying to strengthen you. But you've got to participate in your own development. You've got to show up when it hurts, keep going when it's uncomfortable, and lean in when everything in you wants to shut down. Because if you numb the pain, you also numb the power. If you run from the pain, you run from the growth. Look, I've been there. Times where it felt like nothing made sense, like the walls were closing in, like all the doors were slammed shut. But looking back, I realize now, those were the moments that shaped me. Those were the moments that taught me who I really am. Not when I was winning, not when I was applauded, but when I was on my knees and had to decide whether I was going to stay there or rise. You want strength? Then don't pray for things to get easier. Pray for the courage to get stronger. The version of you that you dream of becoming, that version is on the other side of this pain. But you have to go through it, not around it. Because everything you're looking for is hiding inside the thing you're trying to avoid. And if you can understand that, if you can shift that one belief, your pain won't just be something you survived, it'll be the foundation you stand on for the rest of your life. Because pain isn't your prison, it's your path to power. Strength doesn't come from silence. It doesn't come from sitting in the corner waiting for the storm to pass. Strength is born in the fire. When everything inside you is screaming for relief, but you choose to keep moving forward anyway. You see, we live in a world that's obsessed with avoiding discomfort. We medicate it, distract from it, bury it. But the people who rise, the ones who build something unshakable inside themselves, they didn't avoid the fire. They walked through it. You don't get stronger by avoiding resistance. Think about it. Your body doesn't get fit sitting on the couch. Your muscles don't grow without tension. You have to push, you have to strain, and it's the same with your soul. The trials you're facing right now, the ones that feel too heavy to carry, that's your resistance. That's your emotional weight room. And if you choose to engage with it instead of escaping from it, something powerful happens. You transform. But you've got to stop pretending that silence is strength. Being quiet about your pain, holding everything in, doesn't make you stronger. It just makes you isolated. It keeps you locked in a prison of your own making. You've got to speak truth to it. You've got to be real about what you're feeling. Because healing doesn't begin in denial. It begins in honesty. The strongest people I've ever met weren't the ones who acted like they had it all together. They were the ones who were willing to admit, I'm not okay right now, but I'm not staying here. Fire reveals what's real. It strips away what's fake, what's weak, what doesn't belong, and it shows you who you really are. You think the people you admire didn't suffer? You think they just woke up strong, confident, unshaken? No, they've cried in the dark. They've doubted themselves. They've failed, but they used it. They let the fire refine them. See, life is going to test you. It's going to send you pain. It's going to send you heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, failure, not because life is cruel, but because life is trying to see what you're made of. And every time you face that pain head on, every time you walk through the fire instead of hiding from it, you come out with something new, a new strength, a new clarity, a new level of power that nothing and no one can take from you. The fire is where your strength is forged. Not in comfort, not in silence, but in the raw, gritty, uncomfortable moments where you refuse to quit. So if you're in the fire right now, good. That means something inside you is being built, something unshakable, something unstoppable. Because strength doesn't come from what you escape, it comes from what you endure. There's a kind of pain that doesn't leave bruises. You can't see it, can't touch it, but it cuts deeper than anything physical ever could. It's the pain of the mind, the emotional wounds, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the quiet battles we fight alone. And while most people try to bury that kind of pain, I'm here to tell you, that's the pain that builds your armor. That's the pain that sharpens your mind and strengthens your spirit in ways nothing else can. You ever notice how the strongest people, the most grounded, the most unshakable, aren't the ones who've had it easy? No, they're the ones who've been cracked open by life and chose to come back stronger. They've been through the chaos, the loss, the darkness. And they didn't let it break them, they let it teach them. See, emotional pain doesn't just happen to hurt you, it shows up to wake you up. It exposes the parts of you that need healing, the places you've been neglecting. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, it feels raw. But in that space, in that moment when you feel like you've got nothing left, that's where real transformation begins. Most people think mental strength is something you're born with. It's not. It's forged in those quiet moments when no one is watching, when you're sitting with the weight of your own thoughts, your fears, your doubts, and you decide to face them instead of run. That's when your mind begins to change. That's when you begin to own your power. You want to know how mental toughness is built? It's built every time you choose not to be a victim of your emotions. It's built every time you feel overwhelmed, but still show up. It's built every time your heart is broken, but you choose to love again. That's strength. That's courage. That's real power. Not pretending everything is fine, but choosing to keep going when it's not. And I get it. There are times when the pain feels too heavy, when your own mind becomes the battlefield. But let me remind you, you've survived every bad day you've ever had. You've endured pain before, and you're still here. That means there's something inside you that doesn't quit. That means your story isn't over. And that pain, it's shaping you. It's teaching you how to stand taller, think clearer, feel deeper. Every setback, every rejection, every tear you've cried, it's all preparing you for something greater. It's building the kind of mental resilience that can't be taught in a book or a classroom. It can only be earned through experience, through endurance, through fire. So don't curse the emotional pain. Use it. Let it build you. Let it become the steel in your spine, the clarity in your mind, the roar in your voice. Because when you learn to master your emotions, not avoid them, not suppress them, but master them, you become unstoppable. Because emotional pain doesn't weaken you, it wires you for power. There's a reason your deepest pain cuts so personally. It's tied to something bigger than just the moment you're living in. It's tied to your purpose. Most people walk through life chasing clarity, wondering what they were born to do, trying to find their mission. But here's the truth that so many miss. Your purpose isn't hiding in some perfect plan. It's buried inside your pain. When you look back at the hardest seasons of your life, those times when it felt like your heart was being ripped apart, when you were questioning everything, when you felt completely alone, those were not just moments of suffering. They were moments of preparation. You were being carved into someone capable of carrying more. You were being stripped of the superficial, the noise, the false identities, and pushed toward something real, something deeper. Some people wait their whole lives for the perfect opportunity to feel called. But your calling doesn't usually come with clarity. It comes wrapped in chaos. It doesn't whisper to you when life is easy. It screams at you when everything is falling apart. And the problem is we don't recognize it because we're too busy trying to escape the very pain that's trying to shape us. You've been through something for a reason. Maybe it was a loss, maybe it was trauma, maybe it was years of feeling like you were never enough. And you've asked, why me? But maybe the better question is, what now? Because that pain didn't come to break you, it came to wake you up. It came to give you insight, empathy, fuel. It came to assign you a mission that's bigger than your comfort. How many people are walking through what you've already survived? How many people are stuck in something you've been delivered from? And maybe, just maybe, your story, your scars, your journey could be the very key to someone else's healing. That's purpose. Purpose isn't just about doing what you love. Purpose is about using what nearly destroyed you to serve someone else. It's not always glamorous. Purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it shows up in quiet ways, being the person who understands, being the one who listens, being the one who refuses to give up, and in doing so gives others permission to keep going too. That's power, and that kind of power only comes through pain. So stop waiting for your purpose to show up wrapped in comfort. It's not coming that way. It's already here. It's already inside you. And it was born the moment you faced something that could have broken you but didn't. That pain left a mark. That mark is not a weakness. It's your compass. And when you follow it, you stop living for survival and start living for significance. Because the purpose you've been searching for is hiding in the pain you've been trying to forget. Pain is powerful, but only if you learn to use it. Too many people go through something hard and spend the rest of their lives carrying it like a burden. They replay it, relive it, identify with it. But pain is not meant to be your identity. It's meant to be your initiation. The strongest people on this planet aren't the ones who avoided pain. They're the ones who chose to use it. They didn't waste it. You don't get to control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely get to decide what it means. You can take your pain and let it poison you, or you can take your pain and let it power you. That's a choice. That's a decision you make in the middle of the storm, when your heart is broken, when the weight feels unbearable. That's when you decide, this will not define me. I'm going to do something with this. See, every experience you've been through, every failure, every betrayal, every heartbreak, it's either going to become your excuse or your edge. You can say, this happened, so I quit. Or you can say, this happened, so I became unstoppable. But you can't say both. You get to choose whether your pain becomes a prison or a platform. And that choice, that's what separates people who stay stuck from people. People think strength is about what you've been through. It's not. It's about what you build from what you've been through. Pain has energy. It carries intensity. And you can either let that energy break you down or channel it into something greater. Take the anger, take the sadness, take the confusion, and move it. Move it into your purpose. Move it into action. Move it into becoming the person you know deep down you're meant to be. Most people don't do that. They bury the pain. They numb it. They stay bitter. And bitterness is heavy. It weighs down your spirit. It clouds your thinking. But when you decide to use the pain, not to hurt others, not to punish yourself, but to build something to grow, to create impact, that's when everything changes. And hear me on this. Using your pain doesn't mean you're glad it happened. It means you're not going to let it go to waste. It means you're taking what tried to destroy you and turning it into fuel. That's the kind of decision that shifts everything. That's when the pain stops being your enemy and becomes your engine. Your past doesn't get the final say. Your pain doesn't get to write your story unless you let it. But if you choose to rise, if you choose to build something out of the broken pieces, then you don't just survive. You lead, you inspire, you transform. Because when you stop wasting your pain and start working with it, you become a force that nothing can stop. Everybody wants the breakthrough. Everybody wants the transformation, but no one wants the breaking. No one wants the part where you're stripped down, where your pride gets shattered, where your plans fall apart and nothing makes sense anymore. But here's the truth most people run from. Transformation requires suffering. Not the kind of suffering that breaks your spirit, but the kind that breaks the old you so the real you can rise. Think about it. A seed has to be buried in darkness before it can grow. A diamond has to go through pressure. A sword has to be forged in fire. And you have to go through seasons where everything in you wants to scream, quit, hide. You have to walk through the storm, not around it, because that's where the shift happens. That's where the old habits, the old identities, the excuses, the self-doubt, they all get burned away. We live in a world obsessed with ease. People want results without sacrifice. They want change without discomfort. But nothing meaningful, nothing lasting is born without struggle. If you want to rise into a new version of yourself, you have to be willing to let the old version die. And that death, that's painful. It's confusing, it's lonely, but it's necessary. There will be moments when it feels like life is falling apart, but maybe, just maybe, it's falling into place. Maybe it's not destruction, maybe it's demolition, clearing out what no longer serves you so something stronger, something more aligned can take its place. And I know it hurts. I know you'd rather skip this part, but this part is what separates the few who grow from the many who stay the same. You don't get to the next level of your life by pretending. You get there by facing the parts of you that are no longer fit to carry the future you're building. And yes, that hurts. Growth always does. But that pain, it's proof that something inside you is changing. You're being pulled into alignment with your higher self. And that pull, it stretches you, it exposes you, but it's shaping you. So stop asking why it's hard. Stop wondering when it will end. And start asking what it's building. Start trusting that this suffering has a purpose, that it's not punishment, it's preparation. It's molding you into someone who can carry the dream, live the vision, fulfill the purpose that's been chasing you your whole life. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. And if you can stay in it long enough to learn from it, to grow through it, to surrender to it, something beautiful happens. You emerge, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Because if you want to rise, you have to be willing to break.